Today we're making this rock solid coat rack. Everything I'm going to show you works for 6 hooks, 10 hooks, or 18 hooks or more. Interested? Here we go. This is our coat area. You can see it's overwhelmed with jackets. When we bought the house 10 years ago, it was right at the perfect height for the boys. Now they're getting all taller, so I have a solution. Piece of wood, I'm gonna mount it up there, and then we'll take all these other hangers and put them up here for their hats. Putting hooks on a piece of wood, you would think it's easy, but in a sense it's very complicated because you got to get them all straight. You got to figure out where the holes are and how much does the hooks hold. So we're going to explore that space and try to figure it out. It's a 1x3. I figured out where all the tie-ins for the screws are, and that's important so that it stays on the wall. I'm going to test the hooks to make sure they hold enough and they're rough and tough enough for 3 teenage boys. That's about the height I want it. Pre-drill the holes, stain the wood, put it all together. These are the hooks I'm going to use. You can see they're at an angle and they're kind of a thin profile. I want to start in at 2 inches and then every 4 inches. I'll look on the wood like this. Trying to figure out that angle was a bit complicated, but I have an idea for that. I needed something that was going to keep things straight on the wood. I have this protractor thing. It slides really nice. I know that my wood, even though it's a 3x1, the oak is 3/4 inch thick and 2.5 inches wide. So that's right where my center point is, and I tested it out and it works well. I recreated it here on this piece of paper. Put it there, I centered this right here, and then I drew lines on either side, figured out where the center point was, drew a line, matched that angle up. In this case, it's right here. Mark the 2 points, and then I can transfer that onto any piece of wood. This is my test wood. It's not oak, it's white pines. Arguably, it's a little weaker in strength, but I just want to put something in there that I can put in a rig. Using my device, I line it up right like this on a point that I measured, lay it flat, take the pencil, and just do a little twist here and here, do a check, both those dots, and then pre-drill it before I stain. This set comes with both a 1-inch screw and a 3/4 inch screw. I'm going to use the 3/4 inch. This piece of wood is 22 inches long. I'm going to mount it to a ladder so that I can get a test on it. Try something out on scrap, not on your primary project. If I damage that oak wood, I guess I have the other side to work with, but I would prefer not to do that. I'll pre-drill these holes. So here's the test rig. We've got the white pine with the hook screwed in. We have 2 clamps, 6-foot extension ladder. You have these things called quick draws. Use those in climbing, and 2 10-pound weights. I'm going to put this first 10-pound on the bottom. Not a problem. Here goes the second 10 pounds going on the top. 20 pounds. The heaviest coat we have in the house is my wife's, I call it the Arctic coat. That's 3.8 pounds. I have a trench coat that's 3.3 pounds. A leather jacket that's 3.3 pounds. This is 20 pounds, basically teenage proof. The X's I have marked are where the screws are going to go into the wall. I'm going to countersink those. You can also use painter's tape and run the center and do this whole process. In hindsight, the tape would have worked better. I would go with painter's tape. Finish all these, drill the holes, and then I'll sand it down and stain. If you don't have a center punch like this, you can certainly use a nail and a hammer. I've moved to my garage. I've taken off the tracing paper and I've used a file and just softened the edge a little bit on both sides, and then used a fine sanding sponge to smooth it all out, and it's ready to go for staining. I decided to use this penetrating stain. I wanted something a little dark. On the test run, it came out to that color. On the end, it came out really dark, and I used a chip brush on this, so I'm not really happy the way that turned out. This is white pine. This is oak, so it's likely to stain differently. Instead of using a chip brush, I'm going to use a 100% cotton t-shirt and kind of rub it in. Another hint, if you've not done a lot of staining, is you really got to stir it up. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Shaking it up really made a difference. I can tell immediately the stain is more incorporated and much more representative of the picture on the front of the paint can than it was before. Just laying it on there. The wood makes a difference. I always have thought that oak takes stain better than white pine. Yeah, I like that already. Much different. Don't need a lot. And unlike the chip brush, the cloth approach allows you to apply it really evenly because it holds the stain. Here's what the stain looks like on the next day. It's a little lighter than maybe I want, so I'm going to hit it one more time with another coat of stain and then a protective coat of polyurethane. Put in the hardware and it's ready to hang on the wall.
I've got 20 of these coat hooks come in a bag like this. These are the ones that are going to bolt into the wall. They're 3-inch screws, nothing special about them. They are Phillips head. I didn't want to have to screw through the project wood, so I took a drill and made sure that it was big enough so that these threads could pass through without grinding into the wood. I also have a drill piece here so that it would lay flush. Put all these in place and then screw it to the wall. So there's the screw. That's how long it's going to be in the wall, and then I've taken the drill and done the exact same amount so that it'll be easy to drive into the wall. Okay, setback. Love these hooks, but the screws are softer than heck. And you know what? That's frustrating, and the screws are just not working. All right, a bit of an update. I was going to use different screws, but then I found that if I put my drill on 14 and pulsed, instead of trying to straight drill it, I could get a real solid lock. So I ended up using the screws anyway. They're still soft, but you just need to get them, the pulsing. It seems to be the magic combination. So the key is always to find the studs. I used a level, draw a line, and then I'm tying into the 4 studs here 18 hooks, which should be enough for 3 boys. So there you go. A rock solid coat rack that's going to last probably for as long as the house does. And now the boys will have plenty of hooks to hang up their stuff. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching.